My name is Robert. I'm 81 years old. My wife and I were married for 52 years. Everyone, our children, our friends, our neighbors, they all said we were the perfect couple, the kind of marriage people aspired to. Eleanor died 4 years ago, pancreatic cancer. She died believing we had a beautiful life together. She died thinking I was happy, and I let her believe that lie for 44 years. She never knew I resented her. She never knew the real me. And now she's gone, and I will carry that secret and that guilt for whatever time I have left. This is the story of how silence destroyed us both, even though we never fought once. Eleanor and I met in 1967. I was 23, she was 21. She was vibrant, ambitious, confident. I was quieter, more reserved. I admired her certainty. She always knew what she wanted. I was still figuring myself out. We got married in 1970. I was 26. I'd just gotten a job at an engineering firm in Pittsburgh, my dream job. I'd worked toward it my whole life, designing bridges. That's all I'd ever wanted to do. We were happy those first 3 years, or at least I thought we were. We had different communication styles. She was direct, I avoided conflict, but we made it work. In 1973, I got promoted, junior designer to project lead. I was 29 years old. It felt like everything I'd worked for was finally happening. That same year, Eleanor got a job offer in Seattle, and that's when everything changed. She came home one evening in November 1973 and said, "I got the job." I said, "What job?" She said, "Seattle, the PR director position. I applied 3 weeks ago. They want me to start in January." I just stared at her. I'd just been promoted. My career was finally taking off. We'd bought a house. We had roots. I said, "What about my job?" And she said, and I remember this exact phrase, she said, "You can find another engineering job anywhere. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me." I wanted to say, "So is this for me?" I worked 6 years for this promotion. I wanted to say, "Why didn't you discuss this with me before applying?" I wanted to say, "Doesn't my career matter too?" But I didn't say any of that. I looked at her face. She was so excited, so lit up, and I thought about what would happen if I said no. She'd resent me. She'd be angry. We'd fight. Maybe the marriage would crack. So I said, "Okay, honey, that's wonderful. Congratulations." And I buried everything else. We moved to Seattle in January 1974. I quit my dream job. I found another engineering position, but it was fine, just fine, not what I'd worked toward. I told myself, I'm being a good husband, I'm supporting her dreams, this is what marriage is. But deep down, a part of me resented her, and I never told her. That pattern repeated itself for the next 44 years. Every major decision in our marriage, Eleanor led, and I followed silently. When our daughter was 5, Eleanor wanted to move again, better school district. I'd just started feeling settled in my job. I said, "Sure, honey, whatever you think is best." We moved. When our son was applying to colleges, Eleanor insisted on a specific school, expensive, out of state. I thought we should consider more affordable options. I said, "You're probably right, you know best." He went to that school. We took out loans. When Eleanor wanted to retire early and move to North Carolina, I still had 5 years until full pension. I wanted to keep working. I said, "If that's what you want, let's do it." We moved. I took early retirement, lost pension benefits. Every single time, I swallowed my truth. I told myself I was being selfless, supportive, a good husband, but the resentment grew, like plaque in an artery, slowly, silently building. I'd lie awake at night sometimes, next to her, and think, does she even see me? Does she even care what I want? But I never asked, because asking meant conflict, and conflict meant risk, and risk meant I might lose her. So I stayed silent, and from the outside, we looked perfect. Our friends would say, "You two never fight. What's your secret?" And Eleanor would smile and say, "We just respect each other." But respect requires knowing someone, and Eleanor never knew me because I never let her. Our kids grew up, they moved away, and it was just Eleanor and me again. You'd think that would be the moment to finally talk, to finally be honest. But by then, I didn't even know how to start. How do you say to someone after 35 years of marriage, "I've been lying to you our entire relationship. I resented you for Seattle, for the school, for the retirement, for all of it"? So I didn't. I kept being good Robert, supportive Robert, easygoing Robert. Our daughter said to me once, "Dad, you're so patient. Mom can be so strong-willed, but you never let it bother you." And I smiled and said, "That's just how we work." But inside I thought, it does bother me. It has bothered me for 35 years. I am screaming inside and no one can hear me. In January 2017, Eleanor was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 4. The doctor said 6 months to a year, maybe 18 months with treatment. I remember sitting in the car after that appointment. Eleanor was crying. I held her hand and I thought, this is it. This is the moment. If I'm ever going to tell her the truth, it has to be now. But how could I? She was dying. How could I look at a dying woman, my wife of 47 years, and say, "By the way, I've resented you for most of our marriage"? It felt monstrous, cruel, selfish. So once again I swallowed it. She lived for 18 months, defied the odds for a while. Those months were strange. She talked a lot about our life together, our memories. She'd say, "Remember Seattle? That was so hard on you, leaving your job, but you never complained. You were so supportive." And I'd say, "Of course, honey, it was the right decision." Lie. She'd say, "We had a beautiful marriage, didn't we? We were lucky." And I'd say, "Yes, we were so lucky." Lie. I lied to her until the very end. She died on July 23, 2018. Her last words to me were, "Thank you for loving me so well." And I said, "I'll always love you." That part was true. I did love her. But she died never knowing that I also resented her. She died believing we had a perfect marriage, and I let her die believing that. After Eleanor died, I thought I'd feel relief or peace, but I didn't. I felt worse, because now I was carrying two unbearable weights: the resentment I'd carried for 44 years, and the guilt that I'd let her die without ever knowing the truth. I started seeing a therapist. First time in my life. I was 77 years old. And in our third session, I broke down. I told her everything. I said, I wasted my entire life pretending to be happy, and I robbed my wife of the chance to know the real me, and now she's dead, and I can never fix it. And my therapist said something I'll never forget. She said, "Robert, you didn't just rob Eleanor, you robbed yourself. You spent 52 years married to someone who never knew you. That's a different kind of loneliness than being alone." She was right. I was lonelier in my marriage than I am now, living by myself, because at least now I'm the only one I'm lying to. I've spent the last 4 years thinking about this, trying to understand what I did, why I did it. And here's what I've realized. I thought I was protecting the marriage by staying silent, but I wasn't protecting the marriage. I was protecting the image of the marriage. We looked perfect from the outside, but inside it was hollow, because a marriage can't be real if one person doesn't exist in it. And I didn't exist. I erased myself piece by piece, decision by decision for 44 years. I don't know what would have happened if I'd told Eleanor the truth back in 1974. Maybe she would have been angry. Maybe she would have compromised. Maybe we would have had real conversations instead of me just agreeing to everything. Maybe she would have actually known me. But I'll never know, because I chose silence. I chose peace over truth. I chose Eleanor's happiness over my own existence, and now she's gone. And the person I could have been, the honest version of Robert who spoke his mind and had desires and made demands, that person died decades ago, and Eleanor never met him. If you're watching this and you're in a relationship, marriage, partnership, whatever, and you're swallowing your truth to keep the peace, please hear me. Silence isn't peace. It's erasure. You think you're being selfless. You think you're being a good partner. But you're not being a partner at all, because a partner is a whole person, and you're slowly deleting yourself. I know why you're doing it. I know the fear. You're afraid that if you tell the truth, if you say, "No, I don't want to do that," or "Actually, that hurt me," or "I need something different," you're afraid your partner will leave. But here's what I learned too late. If your partner would leave you for being honest, then they don't love you. They love the version of you that agrees with them. And that's not love, that's convenience. Eleanor and I had a 52-year marriage. Everyone admired us, but I don't know if Eleanor ever actually loved me, because she never knew me. I never gave her the chance. And now I'm 81 years old. I spent the majority of my life lying. I can't get that time back. Don't do what I did. Don't wait until it's too late, because too late comes faster than you think, and it's permanent. People ask me sometimes if I regret marrying Eleanor, and the answer is complicated. I loved her. Parts of our life were beautiful. But I also spent 52 years not being myself. And that's not Eleanor's fault, that's mine. She didn't silence me. I silenced myself. I'm 81 now. I don't have much time left. And I'm trying, finally, to be honest, even if it's just with myself. I'm trying to figure out who Robert actually is when he's not performing good husband. It's hard, because I'm so out of practice. But I owe it to myself. I owe it to the version of me who got erased in 1974. My wife died never knowing I resented her. But I think what haunts me more is this. I died long before she did. I just kept walking around for another 44 years. Don't let that happen to you. Speak, even if your voice shakes, even if it causes conflict, even if it's uncomfortable, because the alternative is spending your whole life as a ghost in your own marriage, and that's not living. That's just waiting to die.